Okay, so just all 6 blue side camps in any order, yeah, that's fine?
Yep.
Okay.
You can look at the other players' screens if you want to, but like I said, you can just do whatever.
Let me see what
whatever your
Perry's
heart
doing there.
desires.
Yeah, I don't want to reveal my strat. I can't reveal to anyone. What am I gonna start, guys?
You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, let the first clear commence. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, we're starting things off strong. So I'm noticing a big difference immediately. Heal, you have teleport.
Yeah. It's some secret tech. We'll see. I'm not sure if it's good.
Okay.
Honestly,
where do you plan on teleporting to? Nobody else has this.
To this tower, tier 2 top.
Oh, okay.
That's crazy. I didn't even think about using summoner spells, man.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to find a way to use flash eventually, right? So.
Yeah, I think so.
Mir, you're the only one who started red buff. Tell me about your strategy with red.
Well, I haven't played Kane for like 3 years, so I think starting Raptor would be slow as. So I think starting red looks like ideal for me.
I will say, Keel is already done with 3 camps and he's on wolves already. Ooh, we got the flash from Perry.
Oh kill, man. What do you got cooking?
I'm way too smart.
All right, maybe.
Keel is pretty fast. You guys are all just done with your wolves now, though, so it's gonna be a photo finish, I think. Ooh, actually, Mir has a bit of an edge here because he does still have his smite. Oh, actually, Perry's is coming back up, so it's getting really, really close. Oh! Oh, that was so close! I think it was Keel, then Perry, then Mir last. It was so close, though. It was really, really, really close. That was a photo finish, but I'm pretty sure Keel got it.
How did I lose?
Man.
I thought I have a perfect strategy with fleet.
Alright, well.
Might have been the rune diff.
Okay, so is there a victor? He has 310, I'm also at 310.
Welcome back. I'm a little bit in the dark as well, as we are back for the LCS Challengers League, and I have light finally.
Yeah.
My goodness, what a game, number 1 for our second series itself, and I specifically want to go ahead and highlight a big moment. I guess at this point, the Pentakill King himself, Arturo Key Drive, is the Shochi pickup, but also a banger last fight from Fear.
It felt like this was Wildcard finally finding their comp working together. They go a little deep for it, but they get Manui, and it was like, okay, is this the moment? Like, is this where they actually turn it? But then...
I mean, I said it in the replay. Look at Shochi's health. The only time he loses health in this fight is because he walks by Zamudo, who has Sunfire. You know what I mean? It's not even that Zamudo autoed him. It was literally immolate.
You know, hey, sometimes it do be what it do be.
True that.
Art's Key Drive, an incredible moment from Fear, but also what a game for them to come out, right? Like, they had spoken with so much confidence in this matchup against Wildcard, and they backed it all the way up. The Shochi has arrived in the playoffs, beat.
They have. I mean, this is the player who we hype up a lot for being a big contributor to Fear's success. I mean, in the earlier parts of the split when things weren't going well, he wasn't looking so good either. But the highs from this player, especially as someone who going into this year, not a lot of people had expectations for, are something to be so excited about. And he just continues to show it on so many different kinds of champions. We wanted to see them narrow it down. And man, the recipes that they chose.
Yeah.
Mwah.
I mean, you turn that damage graph sideways, and it looks like the message that Fear is sending the rest of the league right now. Shochi is stepping up big. Pentakill after pentakill, and he was racking up insane KDAs as well earlier on in the summer split. This is a great start to play. It's against Wildcard, not a slouch. This is not one of the teams where we're like, oh, it was against a team at the bottom of the scene. It's like, oh, I mean, like, Wildcard, our team that we were like, okay, maybe they still have a shot. You know, maybe they can actually take down Fear despite the seeding differential.
And Shochi himself, you know, feeling a lot more confident. He was a little hesitant being with the team, having to go travel, be at this boot camp, but it really is cool to see him flexing his muscles in the way that he does, talking, but also backing up on the rip. Also, just want to check in on kind of the meta situation, right? We did get the rel or Wildcard, but as a whole, I thought it was really interesting. We didn't get as much of that craziness maybe and a little bit more stock standard coming through.
It really did feel like old school league draft from Wildcard. Where it's just like all about the team fight.
With Rel.
With Rel, yeah. But again, like there's been engaged tank junglers in the past. So you just kind of pretend that that's something else, and it would slot into like a 2017
Is that
draft.
what you do? It's just Rel.
Just pretend
it's
it's
the
another.
same as all the other ones.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, anyways, that was our game number 1 for this best of 3 here. A El Clasico, if you will. Really delivering, at least for Fear in that first game. But now we got to get to our Rally Cry halftime show. And for that, I'm taking you guys on a trip. I've decided, we've had enough work for now. We're gonna go ahead and go on to the local LCS Challengers Mall that we have here.
You have a
it's
mall?
just down the street. Yeah, it's
Cool.
pretty incredible. They have a store there called Build a Challenger. And we're going to go visit there. It's much like Build-A-Bear, but it's very different because you're working with players that play League of Legends. I'm going to go ahead and bring up our graphic here. And we'll go ahead and start taking a walk down the mall and get to this store. So if you guys see when you first walk into the store, you're here, you see everything that's available, right? But you got to go right to the left because the left has the structure that you want. So you see here, you got
These are the models.
You got the models. You got Philip. You got Perry. You got Shochi. You got Manui. And you got JJ. Which one of these 5 are you guys going to be grabbing today? What do you want? What challenger would you like to build?
Pete, I think there's an obvious answer based
I think
on that last
Shochi
game.
is Shochi's the answer. Yeah.
It's got to be Shochi. The man
It's
has got
gotta
to
be
be
Shochi.
Shochi. We're
All
picking the
right.
Shochi model.
We're gonna pick the Shochi. We're gonna pick Shochi. So we're just gonna, all these can stay on the shelf. They'll stay there.
Okay.
Now we go to
Well,
this
it's got the funniest
guy.
photo. So
And,
He
yeah,
does.
he does have the funniest photo. So
JJK
he gets the big
reference.
screen. He gets the big screen. Okay, so we've gotten our structure. We've gotten our model. But now we got to figure out what goes into the model. We got to figure out what happens. So I've gotten some nice pictures here, right? Build a Challenger is all about aesthetics. We're not thinking too far ahead.
Q.
So
I already have the answer.
those don't matter. They're just cool looking, okay? You're in the mall. You're having a good time. You're going shop. You're looking for things to put in this Build a Challenger. Which 4 out of these 6 would you want to be included? We could start with the first one, and we'll go ahead and figure out why you think that deserves to be there. And
All right, Pete, how do you want to do this? Do we just go every other?
Yeah, we go every other. Let me go. I have the perfect one to start.
All right, let's hear it.
All right.
We got to do the Nidalee E first. Specifically
Okay.
because it's called Primal Surge. And
All right.
Fear, shout out to them for releasing those comms content and stuff like that. There's something primal about some of the things Shochi is saying during hype moments. Like, I'm sure we've beat to death the whole Perry Penta where he was like, that was Shochi.
So when you
something
press
deep
this ability, does that mean what does this do?
Okay, I can appreciate that. All right, so we got Primal yelling during hype moments. That's a pretty good ability to add in your Build a Challenger. Now, Kangas, what do you got?
I don't understand how this translates. I was following to it at a certain point, but now I feel like, all right, you know what? How about W? You press it and you get a pentakill. Let's just throw in like the Kiana dash thing.
Kiana
And
dash?
it's just
Okay,
like that's the
okay.
pentakill button. Sure.
It's the pentakill button. So just you get a free pentakill.
No, that's got to be the ultimate. Actually, wait, that can't be available level
Wait.
1.
Hear me out. I think we should use that one still. I think the Kiana dash is good. But do you guys remember the GIF where Shochi's like running around dressed as the Reaper like this?
Yes.
The movement ability. I think that's where it fitted.
You're right. Every champ needs a movement
The
ability.
Reaper
in League of
costume,
Legends.
exactly.
Reaper costume.
Okay,
All
but
right.
is it W or E? Because usually E is the movement ability, right?
It doesn't have to be. This is a new
I'm
age
the color
champion.
caster, and you're doing you're thinking too much about this, bro. I'm telling you.
No, but Q's always like the hit ability, and then E's the dash, and W's like the catch-all.
I mean, if Belveth Q is the dash, if that helps.
Well,
So, you know.
you're right. It's not a universal rule,
You're
but
a little wrong.
generally.
Okay, it's okay. All right, we're gonna move on to the E
Okay,
then
next.
to figure out what it is. So what do you got?
Okay, well, Beatdown stole mine, so I guess I'm
did.
gonna
Oh,
go
you're right.
again.
I'm sorry. I was helping you. You were struggling. I knew
was
you
doing
were
it.
Team
Fine.
here, you're together at the mall,
Dude,
This
we
is
would
how
be-
we're
what is
working
this?
together.
We would be
I
the
just
worst
bought
couple.
you some coffee. We just held hands at the Macy's, and now this is happening. I
All
can't
right,
believe
all
it.
right.
Clearly, we can't go.
Let's get this next one
Throw
going.
the
Okay,
Mordekaiser Q, the bottom left one at the ult. That's gonna be the pentakill. No,
the
we're
ult.
throwing that at the end.
All right,
That's
all
the
right,
R.
all right.
That's the
Yeah,
R
yeah, yeah,
ability.
okay,
That's
okay,
just
okay.
the pentakill button.
Literally just
Button.
click.
Yeah.
Bam.
It's appropriate because
All right,
Mordekaiser is
easy,
also in the
easy.
band pentakill, so that gives me time to think
Oh,
about
yeah,
the
true.
next
All right,
ability.
you got one more ability to add to our Shochi
boy.
Build a Challenger.
Okay, so we were corrected by socials. Shout out to Matt. They're not at a pizza place. It,
Oh, yeah.
It does seem to be an actual like PC bong. So, maybe, but they did have
The
pizza.
shadow, maybe the shadow is
I was
the
actually
pizza
thinking
place.
of the shadow.
And
Oh,
I was
the-
thinking
yeah.
shadow is the order pizza button. So,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
when you
yeah,
press
yeah.
that
I
button,
really
you
like
get
that.
pizza.
All right, we doing that? Are we just
I
going
like it,
straight
yeah.
with the memes?
Yeah.
All right, we're doing it. Order
Yeah.
pizza.
You said we could do anything, any
You can do
ability
anything.
we wanted on
Anything
these
you
buttons.
want. Emily's gonna be the one that pulls this apart.
Well, I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. If I could have a champion where these abilities press,
right.
this happens. I'm still confused about the Q. I don't know what the Q really means.
You don't know what the Q does? It's the passive. You know, we could just say it's the passive
Oh,
Q
yeah.
that you don't get to use, and you know, it's just always primal yelling.
Yeah.
Just always.
It's just
All
his
right, so
natural
now
state.
I do want to go ahead. We have to do some last touches. You know, at the very end of Build-A-Bear, you have to put the heart inside of the being, I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know, whatever it is. Our Build a
Person.
Challenger is much the same because we got to put a heart inside of our Build a Challenger Shochi. Which one of these roles, and thinking about it in terms of like the holistic effort, not just because he's a mid laner, but the way these roles are represented, what do you think fits as the heart Shochi?
Well, I think it hurts because we kind of trolled what the abilities do. So I don't.
I think we did perfectly fine, personally.
I don't know if there's an
But,
obvious
Honestly, if you
answer.
have this, I would
This
just
seems like a
want it
jungler.
as a fighter.
yeah, let's put out a jungle.
Yeah, I was
sure.
thinking jungle
Whatever.
or top lane, yeah.
All right, we're just gonna make him a jungler,
jungler.
then. So he's a jungler because he likes to fight and he
Riot.
likes to order pizza and he has pentakills on order.
Riot considered this our application to be a champion designer.
Perfect.
This
Yeah.
is just
Exactly.
one of
Freak
many
if you're
ideas
listening.
that
All
we
right.
come up with
We're
on
gonna
the
have to
spot.
go a little quicker here with the next one, but I do want to
Okay,
run
okay.
over our Build a Challenger Shochi. So we've got him done. We put the heart in. He's got Primal Yellow during hype moments. He's got a Reaper costume he can just put on with his Q. He's also got the order pizza button because, you know,
Who doesn't want
communication
that?
is important. And
Oh,
all
that.
of a sudden, he can just pop a penta out of nowhere because he's got the pentakill button.
Yeah.
Pretty cool Build a
He's like
Challenger.
Karthus.
Now, there are two of you, so we have to do two
Shockingly
Build a
like Karthus,
Challengers. You
actually.
can't just go one. It's
You're
almost
right, you're right.
Yeah.
Now, the next team. This is Wildcard.
Who's the top left? We're doing that
gonna
one.
have to go
I'd be vetoing anything else. Who's that?
really fast with this one, all right, guys?
All right,
So, pick
no
your
problem.
champion, and we're just going with it, all right?
Top
It's one of those
left,
speed
whatever
runs.
that one is. Who's
Zamudo,
that?
yeah, Zamudo.
Build a Challenger is closing, and we have to get out of there.
Okay,
All
okay.
right, so Zamudo is this Twitter icon, since we don't have photos of Zamudo,
All right,
unfortunately.
we're gonna pick the bottom left one, like the wolf with the eyes,
right,
and that's
all right,
the counter
all right.
pick button. When you
Counter
press
pick.
that,
Ah,
you guarantee
yes.
that your champion
Counter
counters
pick.
the enemy champion.
Button. All right,
Really good.
perfect.
There we go.
Next, what do you got?
Rapid fire beat.
Okay, the bottom right one, the Diana ultimate, freezes waves.
Freezes
Because he
good.
does
Oh my
that
God,
a lot.
This is actually so perfect.
That's good. The next one, we're gonna put this as the ultimate. It's a rare ability. It's gonna be the middle one, like the punch the set one.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be no. This is the ultimate. It's gonna be that when you press it, it's a most powerful ultimate in the game. It CCs everyone on the enemy team, but there's a 50-50 chance that it just doesn't work.
Oh. Okay. Are you just saying he's a coach?
It's just playing the odds, you know.
Okay.
Playing the
Wild
odds.
card,
All right, we're
right?
playing the odds.
Wild-
All right, we
wild
got
card.
one more. Let's go. got?
Give me the arrow because he pierces the hearts of his lane opponents because he wins a lot of 1v1s.
All right, we'll throw him at the top lane. You know, let's just save time right there. This
I
is
mean,
clearly
yeah,
a top
yeah,
lane
yeah.
champion.
Yeah.
It's
100%.
clearly a top lane champion. And the fact that I have 25 seconds left till I need to throw the draft, you know. we got
Hey, I think that's a
fit it
success.
perfectly.
Let's go,
All right,
Pete.
so let's go over it really quick. So we got Zamudo as our Build a Challenger. He's got a counter pick button. He freezes waves. He pierces your heart as well in a more detailed fashion. He also, his ultimate, CCs everyone on the enemy team at a 50-50 chance. See if that's going to be the biggest difference maker here. But that does
Maybe JJ's there to stop him, you know?
Yeah. That is our trip to build a challenger. I hope you had a lot of fun with it. But now it is time to have fun with this last series of the day. It's time to get underway with game number 2. So guys, take it away.
Thank you, Mazel. Maybe one more game ahead of us. If Fear can close this one out, this would be a rapid-fire minimum number of games possible today. But Wildcard are hoping to take us to that third game. We are in best of threes now, so the series does not end after this next one if Wildcard can clutch this out.
And it's really important to just say that Fear, they're in that position to keep their upper bracket lives going and send Wildcard down to the lower bracket. A 2-0 would be a great start for a team that was stumbling a bit in the beginning of Summer Split. A team who, as an org, they got top 4, exceeding everyone's expectations. Fear was ranked very low by the community, and they finished top 4. And I think they continue to exceed expectations a bit so far in Summer, especially considering what we were thinking about some of the changes they made.
And a reminder, they started slow as well. They were like 2 and 4 after the first couple of weeks. They had to grind and bring it back online. This feels like we're approaching Fear at full power. Shochi's playing out of his mind. Perry's facilitating. Manui, even though he got picked up a couple of times in that last game, in general is still a fantastic second string carry threat. And Philip and JJ also stepping up in their own right. So let's see if they can do it again here. Let's catch up on pick and ban. The Wildcard with the usual tricks, banning away the Seraphine, Tristana, and Maokai this time around. Perry will not get that twice. Fear banning away the Karthus, Kindred, and Rumble. So Kaisa locked in first for Wildcard.
I mean, super high priority champion right now, very strong. And Manui, even though the team fights weren't going his way, he got a lot of poke with the Ludens and the full AP build. It was pretty disgusting. But now Manui's going to go back to Comfort, the Aphelios, one of his most successful champions all year long. And it's something he happens to look very good on. One more thing I want to touch on really quick for Wildcard, like holistically, is I like the draft we saw from them before, because I alluded to that it was front to back, their specialty. And I kind of want to see that one again, because I don't think the draft, even though it was kind of old style, was a problem. So, you know, keep doing it, Wildcard.
All right, so you don't consider it being the draft diff. You think that it was mostly just, I mean, I think a lot of it was a snowball the Fear got going. They got that early gold lead, and they kept it going. Specifically in the top lane, Philip really running through Zamudo. I don't have the patch notes in front of me right now. Aphelios did receive a couple of nerfs, some tweaks to his sustain, as well as the slow on his Gravitum. So we'll see how much that really affects the champion going forward here for Fear. And if that actually takes him out of meta relevancy. I was wondering about that myself. But either way, they're happy with it, along with Sejuani. And Wildcard locking in Rel and Nico. Now, this I am happy about, because they're holding the Rel as a true flex pick. It could still go to Keel in the jungle. Yanbre could play it in support.
So one thing I do want to add, the Aphelios nerfs were actually last patch Kangas, so 13-13. Oh, sure, true. Yeah, and it was still a champion that a lot of teams were still prioritizing. I think the auto slow and the Gravitum didn't end up mattering very much, because he liked it for the root more than anything else. So, I mean, Manui still has some solid performances on the pick, still very comfortable on the champion, and you're seeing Philip run back the Renekton on the top side here. So Lico gets Nico this time, which I think is actually a big deal, because Saligo's had some pretty nuts playmaking opportunities on various different champions, and when he plays a champion like Nico that can playmake like this, that is when Wildcard has looked their best.
Nico also, okay, good that you caught that, because I've been studying 2 patch notes this week.
Yeah,
Nico also has adjusted that you can now see that ultimate channel much earlier, so you have time to react to it if she's in the stealth. So we'll see if how much that affects. It has dropped her in priority overall for how must pick or ban she is. Already making it to blue round 2.
Yeah, they also nerfed her laning a bit too. Her Q cooldown, the W passive damage, things like that. So that's why a lot of mid laners aren't favoring it as much. And seeing Shochi go for the Azir in actuality this time, instead of just the hover, would be an exciting way to deal with it. But okay, I mean, melee in the solo lanes, it's Sejuani's favorite thing. So now you have your solo laners picked up. You leave JJ to get that last pick, just to know what you're playing into in the bot side. I mean, Fear of a strong comp.
Where's my figure? Malphite? And let's see.
Malphite would go crazy.
Or no, it's going to be a jungler. Probably Poppy's fine. Poppy, Malphite.
Yeah,
I mean, look at all the attack damage. All you need to do is stack armor as Wildcard. You even mentioned that the composition they were playing last time around, Warren I'd be happy with too. Any tank right now. Somebody that can absorb physical damage and still dish out. I don't hate Wukong either. Wukong has some of the highest base armor in the game. So you do actually, and you can go for things like Death Stance. So you're able to stack armor incredibly efficiently right now for Wildcard.
Yeah, so it's another situation where late game Fear, they may run into some problems just because of people like Keel, Donbray, and Zamudo, it looks like, who's blocking in that Poppy for himself, who's going to be able to stack a lot of armor. I actually like the Renata coming through here. I really like the champion at the moment, especially when you're playing into Rel. That's why you see JJ hold on to that one until the last pick. You can use the handshake to interrupt the crash down. Wildcard's comp wants to go all in on you. The hostile takeover is such a good example there. So it's a nice pivot from Fear. They're still going to run into those issues late game where their only magic damage is Sejuani, which is basically non-existent later on into the game. But if they snowball like they did in game 1, it's not as big a deal. But on the other side, Wildcard, they have ways to play out this early game a lot better than they did in game 1. So that snowball is less likely than it was before.
I'm liking Wildcard's draft much more, unless there's something I'm missing, some secret sauce that Fear have cooking that I just have not registered yet in their draft. I'm going to be leaning towards Wildcard here. I think that itemization will be easier. I think that their composition has a better identity of everyone going the same direction. Generally in League of Legends, there's 3 things you can do. You can go in, you can stay still and poke, or you can kite back. And this feels like everyone's going to be going in. You look at Fear, little split. Usually Aphelios wants to be in that stand still position. The Renata wants to kite back. The others arguably go in. Let's see if it works for Fear. They're hoping to use this momentum from game 1 to continue in game 2 and pick up a quick win. Wildcard hoping to put the brakes on Fear's momentum and grab their first win of the series. Let us know who you favor in chat below. Spam Fear or WC. JJ's really walking in here.
He does not care.
Wow.
He says like that utmost confidence that like, Umbre, don't play. You're the only one here, bro. I know you. I know you know I know you. And he just walks in with that Renata Glass strut. Gets the ward down.
Very deep ward that will not only spot if... Yeah, I just love that we're really highlighting this. Yeah, JJ, let's go. Not only will it spot if the Raptors are being taken, but the pathing that Keel will do. It's almost impossible to get around now. You're going to waste so much time if you intentionally go by. But, you know, as I say that, there was actually a sweeper picked up by Donbray, so they cleared that ward out. So all of that is pretty much nil now. And they gave the kill, the credit to Zamudo. So I believe that means Zamudo should hit level 2 1 minion earlier than Philip. That has pretty big lane implications.
True, but I will say, Shochi is able to get the ward on the blue buff because they had that information. So either way, they still know where Keel's going to be.
Big crash here and an early exhaust. Nicely played by Wildcard's bot lane. Level 1 getting a massive advantage.
I mean, that W, you get 2 abilities as Rel, so Donbray and Lens, they're going to take advantage of that one. And usually when you're double range, you get that level 2 first, you get the poke, but that engage coming through here means that Manui and JJ got to take the back, just take a step back for a couple of these first waves with Keel pathing botwards. That can give the opportunity for him to invade, or at the very least, secure the Scuttlecraft.
You see that the level 2 did not matter much for Zamudo. Matched about the exact same time by Philip. So no early shenanigans there. We're at a state of play where these players also realize these implications and they will not play disrespectfully to that early level up. So pathing junglers going towards matched sides as they are both heading towards the bottom halves. Donbray goes for another one. Under turret, handshaked in. That was not the play, Donbray. Manui can look for one more auto. First blood as there was no flash for Donbray. A misplay, heavily punished. Fear happy about that one.
Yeah, he missed that shattering strike. That could have been a flash, maybe a kill onto JJ, but instead, Manui on his comfort pick, the Aphelios, happily will pick up that first blood. A big lead off the start here for the bot lane of Cincinnati Fear. And another thing that I want to highlight too is now that the matchup's kind of turned around a little bit, Perry's going for the invade, and he actually has a mid lane angle.
True, he's looking at Saligo.
I mean, you got a
flash available for the Nico. Shochi's chasing. Flash early from Saligo. Like to see that, but a follow-up from Perry means that your fate is sealed. Give the gold to Shochi. The mid laner getting ahead now for Fear. An early game going to Fear yet again. That's 1,000 gold lead at 3.5 minutes.
You're off to a fantastic start here, Cincinnati Fear. Shochi gets a kill, Vanui gets a kill, and these are the leads that you wanted with these compositions. This is a comp where Fear, you do get a little outscaled in that late game. You want these early game leads to come through. You want to get your solo laner specifically to have an advantage coming through here. So Philip, he has that huge lead coming through as Renekton often does, and he's going to be that point of power on the top side.
Heals out of gank. Looking at Manui, flash used early, still has the cleanse. Keel cannot get enough damage. AJ had a really good handshake there. I highlight your point there. Wildcard are looking for their own plays, their own opportunities, and so far they have not found one.
No, but I will say, Manui forced the flash, has to back on a bit of an awkward timer, so might lose out on a bit of gold and experience if Lens and Donbray are trying to freeze that wave, and it looks like they are. So that is a way for Lens to get back a little bit here in this early game, but it's still looking really good for Fear so far. Shochi in particular, we've seen what he is able to do with leads, especially on these melee champions like the Yone. And it means that he is going to be a pretty severe backline threat. Going to be able to use that Fate Sealed, as you had joked about earlier, to get onto people like Saligo, like Lens in the 5v5.
Uh-oh, Donbray might have to use that W again.
Nah,
Manui can't get close enough to get that root down. Donbray feeling okay about that one so far. I will say, though, even though Shoshi gets that solo kill, you sang his praises on the melee champions. The matchup in Nico, a little rough early on, and you see that in the CS department. Saligo went down, teleports back in a lane, and is still 2 full waves up over Shochi, who didn't back. He walked back to try and catch that wave. So Shochi will feel good after this next back, because then you can teleport in the lane, spend the gold that you just got from that kill. But it gives Saligo an opportunity to make a decision, either try and freeze the wave here mid, or just shove it and try and deny away from Shochi. I think it's going to be the freeze angle, but now it's Perry actually looking for a gank.
Yeah, the wave. Oh, never mind. I think he's just covering, because you can see how they're pushing the wave in now, using the rather the Infernum and the wave clear it offers. So it just means Fear going to go ahead and grab the first Drake. And it's good for 2 reasons. One, you definitely want Dragon's Soul, or at least the ability to threaten it relatively early in the game. And also, it's a Chemtech Drake, which means it's not a Chemtech Soul.
Hey, I like that math. That means it can't be Soul.
Exactly.
It's also just an early free objective for Fear. Essentially free. They don't lose anything for it. It's just a reset for Wildcard's bot lane. And look at that. Fear's right back to farming up the wave. I still think Wildcard feel all right overall, because Lens will have a slight stat advantage now going up in the 2v2 against Manui here, because he had a little more CS spent. Manui's probably sitting on about 300 gold unspent currently from those waves that he was able to pick up. So that early kill has not snowballed into anything disastrous, but that dragon stacking early for Fear. When I look at their comp, I do want them to play fast. I do not want them to scale and allow the armor to stack for Wildcard, so I think they're off to a good start too. Handshake on the Lens. See how much damage is actually landed. That's a half health.
And I like it. They back off. They're just harassing Lens a little bit and leaving when they see Donbray is able to get on top of them. Right now, this is still a fine game state. I agree. Fear need to keep it moving. They need to keep making plays and pick up kills. But right now, I'm interested to see what their Herald setup is going to be. You still have that strong top side in the Renekton, and the Sejuani, a really good 2v2. And Shochi, as long as he's able to get his ult off and do a little bit of damage, this should be a winning topside fight for Fear. But will Wildcard rotate their bot lane up? It's looking like Fear, with the recall that they're looking for, want to send their bot laners top as well. So maybe we just see the lane swap. Maybe we see the full 5 commit.
Could just be after this. Donbray handshaking in yet again. Need to crash down to get to safety. All right, let's watch it. Manui looks to be shoving the wave. I expect the reset, as you were hinting at, and then it comes down to where do they look to reset on the map? Do they go toward that Herald, or do they head right back bot side?
Yeah.
Shochi is still down in CS mid lane. Saligo gets a reset off, so will have better spend, a better purchase than Shochi will for a fight at Herald. The bot lane seems to not just be shoving in. They actually are trying to take trades here. Manui chunked out, but Lens and Donbray are both at half health.
Yeah, I mean, you can see Wildcard's bot lane trading, pretty well as a result. You can see Zamudo has a wave that he has pushed in. Keel's going to try and sneak the Herald, but he might be in a lot of trouble, actually.
Shochi's here, Perry's here. Level 6 is available, so Cyclone can lock down at Shochi. Saligo can do a lot of damage to Pop Blossom as well. Harry's a little caught out of position, doesn't have a lot of backup, but actually no, it's Zamudo that's caught out. Flash is available, he's stunned up into the wall, they got him! Pop Blossom was not enough to take a kill. Keel will go down to Perry. Shochi though with the credit, and Saligo retreats up into the top lane. It looked like a decent setup for Wildcard, but Zamudo could flash the wall and gets punished for it.
Yeah, really big catch out coming through here. And I mean, Shochi had that first move as well. Even though Saligo was able to get the Pop Blossom off, he was late to the play. And that, combined with Zamudo, like you said, ends up giving you another extra chunk of change into your pockets. And it's the Rift Herald once more for Cincinnati Fear. 2 games in a row now. They pick up those first 2 objectives. And this is how they continue to grow that lead.
Let's get another look at it. At first I was worried for Perry, because you look at Saligo's advance, but then you see Zamudo, you're like, oh no.
Oh yeah, it's an easy setup coming through here. You see the flash into ult because Keel had already used the W, and it was the only way he was getting over the wall, but it was tough. I mean, that extra pop of damage from the Soul Unbound on top of all the damage Keel took in the fight was enough to give Shochi that kill. And it's an easy Herald that now, with the tools that Fear have, means that a really easy dive can get set up for, and they could really accelerate this game out of control if they say, dive top lane, dive bot lane, and get the full turret.
Rough series of events for Wildcard as they will try and stabilize, but Cincinnati Fear feeling very happy with this string of events. Getting that Dragon, then getting the Herald, now maybe even getting Donbray. Level 6 on the Rel, has a flash available, locked during animation, mid-air. On those Z-axis there. Will flash to safety as Perry and Shochi chase away Keel as well. Wildcard are struggling to even maintain control of their own side of the jungle as the Dragon is spawning in 40 seconds. Philip ups Dominus. He's looking for it all in onto Zamudo, who does not have the Keeper's Verdict. Now Steadfast Presence is down. It doesn't look like the threat will continue, but Lens, he's the one threatened now. Flash and cleanse available. Does not cleanse early. Actually retreats in a pretty smart manner. Gets back to the 0-2 turret.
Yeah, really nicely done. It cost him his ult and his flash, but that's a good move from Fear. I mean, you know you forced Donbray away, and you know that Lens will be by himself, but you still have the Glacial Prison. You're going to have the Handshake back up very soon, and with Keel on the other side of the map, that bot dive, or at the very least, the collection of all these plates with the Rift Herald is going in on the bottom side.
And Donbray doesn't have flash either from the previous invade in the jungle, so he's got to be very respectful. Can't really walk up here. Perry and JJ just playing goalie. Other defense from Manui right now, who's cashing in on these plates. Herald drop. That will be a full turret to Cincinnati Fear at 11.5 minutes in the game. Very early to take that first turret, and all that gold going on to Aphelios, who also got the first blood, mind you. So Manui's going to be off to the races here.
And really now, at this point, as long as you can back off, not give anything away, and spend that gold you just earned, Fear are in a fantastic position. Kangas, taking advantage of the fact that Keel's top side, using that advantage they had over Donbray to force him out to get Aphelios every single plate. And you can see it, Manui finished their Kraken Slayer. He is very strong if you also include the tier 2 boots as well. So strong that Perry, even though he's alone on the map with Shochi's bot, can just go ahead and start the Dragon. Wildcard, they don't want to contest that. They have to let it go.
And Shochi teleported deep bot lane. He's going to shove in another wave. Wildcard are resetting on the map. They are not interested in that. 1v1 top lane yet again. Philip pops the Dominus. Zamudo has the Keeper's Verdict this time. Philip actually retreats away. Interesting. I thought he had the damage there to try and continue that fight. Maybe not confident enough that that Keeper's Verdict knocks him sky high. Zamudo, though, still struggling in these 1v1 skirmishes.
I think the Keeper's Verdict was the problem. Not even that he would knock him far away. That instant knock-up, when you just tap it, would have actually been Philip's death. So I respect the reservation, especially considering that he didn't have any of it in game 1, if you're recalling the Ornn solo kill onto Renekton Kangas. So, you know, we improvise, we adapt, we overcome.
And the turret helped out a little bit in that solo kill in the Ornn matchup as well. So, that is not what I expected from a gold grab. 4 members of Fear ahead of their counterparts, and even JJ 1,000 gold up over Donbray. Whew.
JJ's been having a good time. It's been a good look here so far for Cincinnati Fear in the second game. We have seen this matchup time and time again in this year, in this season. But man, it's just these last 2 times where Fear have so strongly and soundly gotten the lead over Wildcard Gaming. I mean, even in their matchup last week, it was Fear who were consistently pushing the pace, finding these early game setups and just fighting. And it seems like today is no different because with the pace that they are setting, Wildcard is in serious danger of dropping to the lower bracket.
And we're not even seeing Wildcard get to that armor stacking fast enough that I was worried about earlier on. If Donbray is in trouble here as he will bot parry. Knocked up, chain CC. Lens is there to provide a lot of damage there. Only the static shiv will not be enough to really threaten the Sejuani, so parry's just fine. But is Zamudo fine? Yeah, he's good too.
Okay, everyone's chilling. Perry feeling very confident with the pressure he has all across the map to just walk into Keel's jungle, drop vision where he pleases, and make it so that Fear can set up for this Rift Herald coming up in less than a minute's time. You can see the vision line, and you can see what Wildcard have to do to clear it up. They're buying pink wards. They're trying to invest them just to keep their side of the map cleared up. There isn't anything really neutral except the ward they just placed in the river. But now they're setting up a play bot side. There's a lot of people there trying to get onto Shochi.
Shochi's not taking the bait, though. Actually pretty
I like that. I like
for
this.
him. He's walking forward to check. He says,
really
yep,
nice.
they are there. Actually, okay, you know what? Right as I gave him props, he is
God,
shut down. Donbray with the kill credit. Ignite takes him, and Wildcard get a pick in a side lane.
Man, Shochi, a little slow on the E2 of that Soul Unbound. You're technically unstoppable, so if he reacted, he would have been fine. But I imagine as soon as the CC chain started, he's just spamming the E key to try and get it done. But it's going to give that opportunity for Wildcard to get this Rift Herald. Would be a huge pickup for them, but numbers not exactly in their favor.
Illibest teleport, but he's 1v1ing bot lane, so Fear do not win the 50-50 smite fight. Well done for Wildcard. Punish Shochi, turn it into an objective. Now this can get them some more gold to come back into the game. Fear had played a very clean game up until that point.
Yeah.
You have to keep track, how much do they lose because of that? It seems like for now they still have maintained control of the lanes, pushing in mid, getting a lot of damage on this mid turret. But as I say that, Manui tanks a turret. Donbray actually trying to turn the play around. They don't hard commit though. Ooh, if Skeel was more nearby, that could have been real dicey.
Yeah, but look at Perry again. He's just constantly invading, and I really like that he is doing this. Like, he got the red buff, but more importantly, what I really like about junglers who counter jungle like this is that you see all his camps bot side, they're up. It's most important that he is denying resources from Keel. And that's what I like to see when you're trying to steal camps away. Don't farm your camps, farm their camps. Because in what situation when you have a lead, are they able to farm your camps, Kangas? That's the tech right there.
That's the tech. I like it. Good approach. Let's see if Fear are able to create the situation to guarantee this next dragon. They stacked the first 2 earlier on. We have 45 seconds until that's up on the Rift. And a lot more vision on the bottom side of the map so far for Fear. As I say that, though, we could see Wildcard approach. I know it's Keel actually catching the bot wave. The lane assignments... Oh, wait, no, there, I got baited. It's Saligo. It was the Nico.
It's okay.
Yep, all right, well, there you go.
So, Keel does have the opportunity mid lane to be able to drop the Herald and get a better position for the Drake, but I actually like this restraint, and instead of using the Herald to try and pull Fear to the lane, they're waiting a second because they actually want to try and take this mid tier 1 turret. Because they know they're not in a position to fight this Drake, but look at what Fear are doing. They know that.
We are posturing for an engage right now. Perry trying to hold their approach into the river. JJ jumping onto Saligo. Ultimate in, used onto Donbray. Has to run away. Oh, Moonlight Vigil not landing. That would have done a decent amount of damage, even with only 1 item on Aphelios, given their health bars. Wildcard, do they still fancy an approach? Okay, Philip solo kills Zamudo. And with teleport available, I don't imagine a world where Wildcard take this fight. Keel's trying to retreat. Bait sealed by Shochi. Jumps in there to get some damage. Cannot find a kill, but finds enough damage to guarantee Dragon to Cincinnati Fear.
And it's a great call for Philip to not teleport. He just gets the wave in, is going to be able to back and spend the gold that he earned, hold on to that summoner spell. And this is a really good look from Fear there. What you'll see a lot of teams do is they'll just go for the Drake Kangas and accept that Herald is dropping mid and trade for the soul point. But Fear, they recognize their power at this state of the game with the gold lead they have. They said, no. We can do both, Wildcard. That's what you don't understand. So they prevent the mid-tier 1 from going down, and they get the soul point on top of it. And we're going to see what happened in the background. Philip says, Hey, Zamudo, how you doing?
Yeah, that's just rough.
Oh, it's
for
the
Zamudo
minion
to
damage,
kinda
look at
face
that.
check Philip. And Philip with the outplay, yeah. Well done, and a reminder coming in from the regular season, Zamudo was second place for solo kills in the league at 23.
Right.
Philip was only rocking 14. Philip's been getting the better of this matchup overall today.
He has been. And another nice ultimate coming through there from Shochi with the Fate Sealed. I mean, Fear overall, they are just firing on all cylinders this game, Kangas. Wildcard couldn't make the trade that they were potentially hoping for, and now they're staring down the barrel of a Mountain Soul in 4 minutes' time. We talk about Wildcard and their ability to itemize into armor and how they should be able to be a little more tanky, resilient in the late game. Well, it's going to be harder to out-sustain these fights when members of Fear are getting these extra bonus stats and a shield on top of it.
One of the questions we had coming into this for Wildcard was how would they look on the new meta, how would they look on the new patch? Can they adapt fast enough? Maybe. Okay, we'll actually catch up on that point later because Terry's face checking. We'll run into Keel, and he's tanky enough that it's actually Keel that goes down. All right, well, that's just the state of the game that we find ourselves in. Nobody can threaten this tank, Sejuani, and who needs a Dragon Soul in 3 minutes' time when Baron just spawned? Fear will just start it up, pull teleport out of Zamudo, and force Wildcard to answer.
I mean, at this point, you can just turn and fight. You have a numbers advantage. You don't have to play for the turn.
Listen to clone in. Now Fear are actually playing for the turn. Keeper's Verdict used by Zamudo. Pushes away. The Renekton. Big pop
that's a big
from Saligo. They're on a Manui, but he has the stopwatch. Survives it for just long enough. Will go down. Perry still going forward.
Philip's here.
Has the bailout. Will fall regardless. Who's going to be the carry now? It's got to be Shochi. Got to be Philip. And they are doing just that. Flash from Zamudo over the wall. Philip will chase down onto Saligo and grab the kill. So Fear will still trade a couple of kills back and forth. I believe they traded up overall. No.
Oh,
I think it was just a 2 for 2. Keel went down earlier.
Oh, that's right. So it's technically in that fight, it is a 2 for 1. Saligo did get a really big ultimate coming through there in this fight. And it did look good for a moment there, Kangas. But, unfortunately, Fear, you see the gold lead really start to work for them. The fact that the fight was even, and then Philip showed up about a second later with the Dominus to help finish it off, really speaks to the advantage that's coming through here. Because look at Philip at the moment. He isn't really doing anything. He's just sitting at this flank angle, cutting off a potential method of retreat, and he gets knocked away. But he's going to come back in a second now. And look what happens while he's gone. You get a lot of damage onto Manui, who buys time with the stopwatch. That's all well and good, but you didn't really secure any meaningful kills. You stayed in this fight the whole time until, look who showed up now, it's Philip.
Philip did make it in eventually, but I also want to give props to Shochi from Fear. While Philip was running back to the fight, Shochi avoided the Pop Blossom and 1v1 pushed Lens out of the fight. Imagine that Pop Blossom landing and Lens ulting over the top of it. That's probably a team fight white in favor of Wildcard.
Could be.
Shochi keeping Lens occupied and keeping them in this one. Nobody gets the Baron, so Wildcard's still feeling all right because they did stop that attempt. We're back to about where we were before that attempt.
Uh-oh.
Never mind.
Zamudo.
Back to Zamudo getting ganked. Ooh, well pressed there. Very quick reaction time for that steadfast presence.
I'm going to be honest, I think he was doing it for the movement speed, but the timing ended up being really good there. So you get the pressure off, and right now, we're about a minute to Drake. Not a lot of vision top side, so Wildcard have an opportunity to trade for the Baron, but Fear instead, oh my god.
Engage from Dawnbrave. They're trying to jump in onto Shochi, goes into stopwatch. It's actually JJ and Sick. Keeper's Verdict lands, but Dawnbrave falls. JJ with the credit, Manui doing a lot of the damage. And Fear find the kill onto the enemy support who went for that engage. Dawnbrave wanted that one. Wildcard would not, they just didn't have enough of the tank. to really follow up on the damage against the target that had Stomp Punch available. Fear now 5v4 as Dragon spawning in 15. Do they go for the fight or do they go for the objective? Parry's engaged on by Zamudo. Heal jumps in as well, but such a tanky Sejuani, you are not killing that big. Fear now will retreat back towards the Dragon looking for the objective.
Keep an eye. Saligo has ult, but no flash. He's currently disguised. So even though you can see the ult channeled, it is still a very small window to react to. Shochi is also looking for the ult angle here, and Philip's got a flank.
Teleport coming in from Philip. Wildcard are all peeling back towards the Renekton. Dombre made it in time. They're on to him. Zamudo is 1v1ing himself over there. Philip survives. He gets back towards the team. Pop lost about a 2.
Oh, that's a big ult.
They trade 1 for 1. JJ goes down, but Shochi's still up. Lens is going to have to put a lot of work in here with no front line left alive. Bear with a flash to secure the kill. And look at that. Team fight win for Cincinnati Fear.
They do it again, Kangas, and this is their reward. The Mountain Soul. They just got a hell of a lot tankier, and this game got a hell of a lot harder for the side of Wildcard. We might be looking at the death throes here of Wildcard in the upper bracket because Fear have an insane lead to play with.
Look at this teleport. Everyone from Wildcard jump in. Fear answer onto Zamudo, but Philip lives.
Right, the stopwatch purchase, it buys him so much time. He absorbs so many resources. And Saligo, he's had some good ults pretty much the entire game, but the gold isn't there. The follow-up isn't there, and Philip continues to have an amazing series.
And Lens cannot escape from Philip over the wall. He lands the Renekton stun auto through the wall. Very funny interaction right there. Despite the fact that Manui went down, Fear had enough damage regardless to win it. Now we're back to live. The Dragon Soul claimed. They're way tankier than they were moments ago. And Baron is still on the table, so Wildcard are running out of options at this point. They have more armor purchased, but I still don't think that they're at their point. No. They can really absorb all the damage that Fear are sending out towards them. Zamudo in trouble here. A little away from the rest of the team. Same with Shochi on the top side here. Who's going to go down first? Shochi jumps further in and gets locked down. Wow. It's traded. Zamudo for Shochi, but Wildcard feel real good about that one.
Yeah. I mean, you got Keel's ultimate out of there, and you got 2 ultimates, Keel and Saligo, for your life. So you're even numbers, you're down. A lot of utility as Wildcard. So this is a Baron that Fear absolutely can go for. Manui's got red and white guns.
Oh, Dombre. That's a little far away from the rest of your team. He flashes in. Oh, yeah, those are those angles where you don't look at where your team is before you look at where the opponent is. It's juicy, and now they're getting punished for it. Fear will also look for another pick. They're turning off of the Baron onto Keel. Philip is stuck on top of him. Keel will look to trade on JJ, and there's nothing to trade. He falls down. Cincinnati Fear are right back onto the Baron. Teleports are coming in. Shochi teleporting, Zamudo teleporting. Philip taking damage from Lens, from Saligo. The carries are still alive for Wildcard. Maybe they can do something crazy here, but with no pop lossing for Saligo, I don't see an angle where Wildcard can realistically win this. How do they want to approach? Zamudo throws Philip away. Lens onto the back line, 1v1 into Manui, but he's exhausted down and falls. Zamudo dies as well, and the bailout saves Manui. Double kill to the carry and Baron to boot.
And a 10,000 gold lead as the Terry on top. The Turo Baron buff belongs to Cincinnati Fear, and we might be minutes away from this game coming to a close. Kangas, look at the item difference between these carries, especially Shochi. 3 items deep. Now that he has Lord Doms and the recently buffed Infinity Edge. The tanks, schmanks, armor, doesn't matter. Manui's gonna cut these people to ribbons.
An incredible performance from Cincinnati Fear this series. I doubted the draft coming into this one, but hey, they silenced my doubts. They are performing incredibly well. Special shout-outs as well to Philip. He has shown up in both of these matches against Wildcard, the best of 2 to close out the regular season. Now this best of 3, he has gotten the better of Zamudo, who was turning a lot of heads for his ability to play the late game, to play these niche picks. While he's playing standard, the question for Wildcard, can they adapt to the patch? I think Fear have adapted much better. They're also just performing better in these stressful moments. They're playing like a team, and they have key carries stepping up when it counts.
And that's been a big part of what's led Fear to this moment we see them in. Remember, Upper bracket lives on the line. Wildcard have one last stand to make.
Final engage. I think this is going to be it from Wildcard. They're posturing like they want to throw everything at this, but Donbray was channeling the Hex Splash, and there was a handshake from over the wall. JJ prevented that, so actually no engage comes through for Wildcard. They're going to lose the rest of their base. The bottom inhibitor turret's focused. Now Zamudo actually focused up here. The tank is just not tanky enough. Manui shreds through all that armor. Shochi with the Fate sealed. Looks for the 1v1 on Saligo. Not quite enough. Saligo will limp back to the fountain, try and heal up, but this base is in tatters. Cincinnati Fear with this Turo Baron buff are walking straight at the Nexus turrets and looking to close out the game right here, right now. Maybe Saligo can find something crazy. Does not have the Pop Blossom available, pretending to be the Wukong. They gotta get onto Manui, but he's got both summoner spells available. The entire base is broken. Cincinnati Fear,
Oh, he's going in!
The Pizza Boys themselves are walking this one in. Looking for the 2-0 over Wildcard. And it's the key carries that are making it happen. Phillips diving into the fountain. Are you kidding me? Cincinnati Fear take a swift 2-0.
And a convincing one at that, Kangas. This is our 4th seed. This is a team we talked about that are showing signs of what we saw from them in spring. And I'm going to go ahead and say it. Spring Cincinnati Fear is back, and they are a menace in this upper bracket.
Say it again. Say it louder for the people in the back. Do not doubt Cincinnati Fear coming in as 4th seed. They will show up 2 splits in a row now. They are roaring to life at the beginning of this bracket. And that is the type of performance against a team very close to you in the seeding, a team like Wildcard, where we were coming into this one like, can we say definitively that Fear are favorites here? I think there's an argument, right? Like, you can have a conversation about how Wildcard will win this one. Fear just showed what they are bringing to this bracket. I cannot wait to see where it continues going forward. But with that said, we're going to send it to a short break before we're back with one of the players from Cincinnati Fear to talk us through that series and maybe what more to expect from them with their new LAN setup right after this.
Welcome back, everyone, and welcome to the Verizon post-game interview, where we do have our interview, and we have our pentakill prince himself, Shochi, my man. You called it, brother. 2-0 easy win over Wildcard.
Yep.
What was it like going into it? What was your mindset? And what was your mindset when you woke up today?
Yeah, I mean, when I woke up today, like, it was the first game of playoffs, so I had a little bit of the jitters, but now that we're all here in person, we get the glorious experience of taking a walk throughout the beautiful Ohio nature. And,
Ohio nature.
I mean, yeah, we just pulled up. Me and Perry did some arena 2v2 to practice our mid-jungle synergy, and yeah, I felt pretty confident.
Did you bring out the Sejuani Yone in that?
No, we didn't. It was more
right,
like Ivern, Wukong, something like that.
Oh my god, you dirty. All right, we gotta talk though. You popped the hell off in this series. It's the first series for Fear in the playoffs here. But first and foremost, you got the Penta. We all have heard your Penta calls before and everything that goes into it. So tell me what it was like, the lead up into that, and also the comms.
Right, so at the start of the fight, I thought we were gonna lose it, to be honest. But then I was like, wait, they just used like 3 flashes, 3 ults on little old Manui, so I was like free hitting the whole time.
Or Manui.
And when I got like, I think like 2 or 3 kills, I started calling for the Penta, but I don't really count it as like a real Penta because I was like directing my teammates on how I could get the Penta. I was like, hold the Nautilus so I can go for the Rel and then come back. So I don't know. Yeah, it was kind of just spur of the moment.
They had to hold the groceries for you, man.
Yeah, they had to hold the groceries.
You did bring out the Yone in game number 2. I think something for you and Perry that's been really key is just aggressive matchups. Do you feel like the Yone Sejuani in that style is kind of the bread and butter for you guys now?
Yeah, me and Perry, I mean, we've been working together for a while now. Like, we were on Fear together last split, and I've known him for a couple years now. So at first, like, it's funny that I got the pentakill on Jace, because, like, at first we were really struggling with that pick, because it's not something you can really fight 2v2 mid on. But yeah, I'd say, like, the Yone Sejuani, like, things that you can show that you're better than your opponent and fight together, that's what me and Perry are best at.
Hey, we'll see more of that for sure. All right, but there is one thing. We got a little bit of an elephant in the room that we got to clear out here. I was talking to you the other day, and you said you were in a pizza cafe. So what kind of pizza did y'all cook up today?
I don't know. Like, there's a Papa John's next to it, but maybe that's what was distracting me.
All right, what's your favorite pizza? What's your favorite pizza?
I don't know, just like classic pepperoni. I tried like the fresh mozzarella, like on that margarita pizza recently, and it was pretty good too.
That is pretty awesome. All right, but for real, you're in the One Life to Play facility. You guys are all together.
Yeah.
It is a game day. You guys have been practicing together. Was there anything different in the setup for you guys today on a specific, competitive game day at that facility?
We kind of just pulled up like usual. Like, I mean, I will say, like, it was a little bit laggy in the first game. So, maybe that's why I was missing the Yone ults. But maybe the air was different. Like, we all knew it was game day. You could kind of smell it in the air. Like, everyone's a bit more serious. But yeah, I feel like we're gonna go far now that we have this setup.
You said it to me yourself, man. This is the start of your anime arc. This is where you are coming alive. If you had to choose an anime protagonist, or even a couple of them, who would you be?
Oh, okay, that's a great question, actually. I can't really think of any off the top of my head. Maybe like Naruto, because I'm just going to become really OP. Or like Naruto, Luffy, Goku, like one of them. I'm just going to be super OP by the end of this.
I messaged my producer. I was like, man, he's really starting his Goku arc here.
Yeah.
In the time chamber.
Super Saiyan.
It's been really, really cool to watch you pop off, especially in the way that you have. Now, I will ask you, though, with some of that pizza floating around, and we saw the picture posted earlier, you guys do have pizza at the facility. Are you guys going to celebrate at all? Is there anything you're going to do to kind of cap this kickoff to the playoffs?
I mean, classic League of Legends player Flash, and I think we're about to go celebrate with some KBBQ, you know?
Let's go. That's a dub to me. I will ask you one last thing. Give some shout outs. Anybody want to talk about or any messages for the Shochi fans out there?
First and foremost, shout out my girlfriend, always supporting me. Shout out these weirdos behind me.
Let's go.
Yeah. I have a really great team this split. They always set me up for success and let me get these crazy pop-off moments. Shout out all my friends and family back at home, I miss them. Shout out all the fans that spam Shochi, hold dang Shochi, hold darn Shochi, all that. It means the world to me, and it helps motivate us in the crew for sure.
Y'all are incredible. Keep doing what you're doing, King, and keep having fun, man. We will talk to you, I am very sure, very soon.
Yep, I'll make sure to get another 2-0. Or is it 3-0
right.
next round?
There you go.
I don't even know. We're gonna win. We won't drop a game.
There you go. Oh, you heard it here. You heard it here first. Thank you so much, Shochi. I'm gonna go ahead and bring back Kangas and Beatdown. I saw your eyes ticking up there, Beatdown. You got some interesting stuff there to finish it out. But specifically, always love to hear the camaraderie, the teamwork, and a lot of the effort that goes into not just what we see in front of us on the day.
Yeah, and I gotta say, real quick, I really expected Shochi to make a JJK reference just because of, the picture we have of him with the blindfold and everything.
True.
But it is cool to see, we talk about the whole power of friendship thing with this team, but it is literally like the 5 guys in a dream, and now that they're playing together, they're going crazy.
I mean, he referenced Goku. Everyone knows that the Saiyan has to be, defeated
That's
so
true.
that they can unlock their next
Zenkai
power
boost.
level. So, beginning of Summer Split, being 2 and 4, that was where they were getting beat up, and then they just scaled from there, right?
I thought you were going to go off last split maybe or something. Just keep building that one
sure,
at this point.
that works,
Anyways,
actually.
let's go ahead and bring up the playoff bracket. I do want to go ahead and talk a little bit about where we've gone now, where we've had 2 2-0s so far, but it is also looking ahead at what we have in front of us. Now, TLC handled business. 1 versus 8, 2-0. Easy. El Clasico. Fear versus Wildcard. Fear kept the momentum from their last game against them in the regular season. Took another 2-0.
I gotta be honest, I think this is the El Clasico now between these two teams. Because Fear, back-to-back 2-0s, I think this is just what we can expect now. Keel, he put out on Twitter, they're still hoping to win it all. We know him to be very motivated. We know this isn't everything that we have seen from this wild card roster, especially because there's a lower bracket. But for the moment, it's Fear all day.
I think this is their third 2-0 over Wildcard, who 2-0'd them once this summer, if my math checks out. I'm trying to remember back to that graphic that Destrix had put together.
It was a 2-0 in the first one, for Wildcard.
Yeah.
So there you go. Fear continuing the trend here, doing well. I will say this next part of the bracket is going to be, in my opinion, much closer. I mean, seeding-wise, there's an argument already because it's 2nd versus 7th, but that 7th seed is very powerful. I would not be too surprised if EG upset that, even though FlyQuest are coming in as also potential favorites for the tournament. But DSG AoE, AoE are looking hot too. So we got 3 defending champions hoping to go for another title. AoE hoping to just prove that they got what it takes.
I want to give a special shout out to the FlyQuest EG one as well. I feel like both teams on huge resurgences in the later half of the split. But also, I spoke with Spyrax, and FlyQuest is feel like this is it, right? Like, this is the moment they need to step up. They need to prove themselves. Like, it's round 1, but it feels like do or die for them. So I'm really excited to see that one specifically, but it's going to be a lot of fun. We have 2 more best of 3s tomorrow at the same time. So it's going to be an interesting one. Beatdown, biggest takeaway from our kickoff playoff. What do you got?
Whew. Let's see. I mean,
TLC
Team
are
Liquid
good?
Challenge. I was gonna say no. TLC are gonna win it all. I'm gonna be honest. Like,
Oh!
that's just my
I
early
haven't seen
prediction.
FlyQuest
So
or
you
DSG
had
play.
Shoti dropping there, not going to lose a single game, and then you got Beatdown over here saying
What
Team
is
Liquid
this?
are winning it all
I
off the
know,
first
man.
series.
I know, man. I mean, that's my takeaway. TLC are so damn good, and unless the teams like FlyQuest who are saying they need to step it up, like, it's done and dusted, man. Like, who's gonna
All right,
beat this team?
Kangas, real quick, give me your
13.14 is going to be a fun patch. I'm already loving it,
agree.
man. This is going to be a good
Yeah.
playoffs.
It is indeed. Well, that is it for our first day of the LCS Challengers playoffs, but you always know that the LCS Challengers League is brought to you by Turo, the world's largest car sharing marketplace where you can book any car you want for just about any occasion. You want to go on a nice little picture ride in a nice car, you can do that. You want just a nice car in front of your driveway, you can do that too.
So you could have.
Remember that you can always forget your boring car rental at Turo. That is it for our day 1 of our playoffs, and that means that we have 2 more best of 3s tomorrow taking place in some banger matchups. Thank you, Kangas. Thank you, Beatdown. Thank you, Cynthia. And thank you, Emily, behind the scenes as well. And we'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you on Summoner's Rift.
Remember, they wanna look at.
Yeah.
I think it's good. I'm just hitting front.
Yep.
Yep, side dead.
Watch it, Ori. Watch it, Ori. Watch it, Ori. Yeah, watch it. She's dead. She's dead.
Penta.
Penta, it's a penta.
Save the ones for me.
Yes, saving Ord. Guys!
Nice!
Wait, I don't think we can end, can we? 20 seconds?
No. Okay,